Hey guys, it's Dan here with Straight Up Tech, and today I've got a really exciting thing for you guys. Do you want to know what it was? For those of you who don't really know me, I'm kind of a gamer at heart, and I really love PCs and everything, and I just really enjoy building things, building computers, and what I wanted to do is build a retro gaming system with the oncoming of the NES Classic, now past, and then now the SNES Classic coming about. I really didn't want to pay what they're wanting for that system, so what I wanted to do is build a RetroPie system using a Raspberry Pi and use that as my emulator for all my games. I have a large collection of NES and SNES games myself, but wanted something where I could just play them all on one system and not have to fool with the older actual system itself. Today I'm going to just show you the setup and build, as well as some quick gameplay in the end. In a later video I'll bring you the installation process and how you configure that, as well as setting up any of the ROMs going forward. So for those of you who don't know much about RetroPie, RetroPie is an operating system meant for the Raspberry Pi, so you can run an emulator like Emulation Station packaged with it. On top of that, you could also put things like Kodi, but the main purpose of this is for just doing emulation for an NES game, an SNES game, Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, Commodore 64, you name it, right? So they don't include anything of your newer systems like Xbox or Wii or Wii U or any of those, and probably for a lot of legality purposes. But these older systems, a lot of people can't get their hands on the games anymore or the systems themselves, so it's become a lot more widely available. Alright, so let's get right on into the build. Alright guys, so basically I'm going to clear some of this stuff off, but basically you need at least the base couple components, and that's going to be your Raspberry Pi itself. So I got a Raspberry Pi 3 Model B. The other thing is the power supply. So this is just to power it up. This is a typical, what is it? I believe it's the, it's the 5 volt, 2.5 amp Pi adapter, AC adapter. You can pick these up almost anywhere, but basically all you need is that micro USB. I did additionally with this kit, this was an all-in-one kit that I picked up off of Amazon, but it comes with the heat sinks as well. Another thing you really need is a good HDMI cable. I just picked up a 10-foot Amazon Basics HDMI cable, so we'll rip that open and you know, nothing fancy, it's just a standard HDMI cable, so we'll set that over here. Get this a little bit out of the way. The next thing that is pretty helpful is having a set of controllers. So I picked up this iNext game controller pair, and this is an SNES style USB game controller. So there's 2 of these in the box, and as you can see here on the specs, if you want to pause and see those or read those, you can, but this will work on any Mac system as well if you're wanting to use this on your Mac. But I am going to be using this on the Raspberry Pi. As you can see, it does have compatibility there, and then any of your Windows operating systems. Alright, so let's set that aside. Lastly, you need a case, because your Raspberry Pi doesn't have a case with itself, and you really need something that adds a lot of flair, adds a lot of cool factor to it. You could get a standard, just black, white, whatever, plain case. But what I wanted to do is pick up this old school entertainment system kit. This is a case I picked up off of Amazon, just the same as the rest of the parts. And let's get this on out of the box here. So as you can see, it looks just like the old NES system. So this would be perfect for the Raspberry Pi. It's got a front door on it. That's where your network card or network port and then your 4 USB ports be placed. Has cutouts here for your HDMI and your charging cable, as well as your audio cable, and then on the back your memory card. Has a couple ports for fans or just for ventilation, and then your lights on the back, a little bit of ventilation on the bottom. And also it comes with its own heat sinks. I'm gonna check out which one's a little bit better. I do believe the one that came with the Pi is gonna be better, but it also does come with the screws as well. So overall, very awesome case to use. Definitely a cool factor. You can get multiple other cases that look maybe like a Super Nintendo system. I'm sure there are others for like a Sega Genesis or any of those as well. So let's kind of get on into the assembly and putting this together. Alright guys, so I've got the basics tools here, just a screwdriver, and I've got everything laid out here, so we're going to get right on into it. So here's the Raspberry Pi board, and as you can see, this lines up quite well with this case, and I was a little bit worried if it was going to line up real well. They say it did, but you never know until you get it. So here you can see all of our standoffs all line up just perfectly, and you can set those in there. But first, what I'm going to do is attach these heat sinks. Now it comes with just basically a heat sink tape here, or to kind of set that down there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put this one on as well. So there you go. You can just see that those attach to the two chips on the board, and press those down good and firm. Don't press too hard, don't want to break the board. But the next thing is to put this on, put the top on, close the lid, and then our screws just go in to the bottom. That goes through to hold that board all together, and then we should be able to slide our memory card in and out just very easily without taking this thing apart through the back side. So I'm going to go ahead and put these screws in. Alright guys, so I think we've got it all snugged up. Now fits in there quite well. You can see all the ports fit up real easily. Got it all assembled. Now it's just time to go ahead and take out the SD card, get RetroPie downloaded and formatted and installed on the SD card, and then we can boot this thing up and see what we've got. First, I'm going to go ahead and take these controllers out so we can take a peek though before I get all that going. So as you can see here, we've just got these come in a couple different colors. So as you can see here, we've got the standard SNES controller style here with your Y, X, B, A, left, right buttons, select and start, and your directional pad. This is just the same as any SNES console was back in the day. So it is USB, so you can again use this on your Raspberry Pi. You can plug this into your computer if you have an emulator or any of that as well. These come in a couple different colors and styles. They have the multicolor buttons in black and white, and then also they have, I believe it's a red and black style buttons in black and white, or more of a gray that the old controllers used to be in. And these will have a decent length of cord, but if you ever have a problem with that, that's what the 10-foot HDMI cord is. You can pull the system out a little closer to you and get some extension there with that as well. So these just plug in here right in the front while you're using it. Otherwise, while you've got it put away, you can just close that up and store these away. Alright guys, so I just jumped right into, I already had a SD card with RetroPie installed on it, and so I'll bring you a video later on how you install RetroPie, as well as set up the ROMs and get those installed once you get your hands on some ROMs. But I wanted to show you real quickly just what the RetroPie looks like, what to expect, and some of that. As you can see here, I've got just an HDMI Raspberry Pi screen I'm showing this on. You could plug this into your TV or any HDMI monitor or output as well. So once you get RetroPie installed, then you can set up things such as your Wi-Fi connection. So I have, since this is a Raspberry Pi 3, it already has Wi-Fi built into it, but if you had a Raspberry Pi 2 or 1, you could get a Wi-Fi card and install that as well. But once Wi-Fi is turned on, what that does is allows you to configure SFTP or a Samba share actually, and you can share that on the network. Then you can push ROMs to it through that share or through the SFTP and not have to deal with loading the ROMs through a USB drive. You can also set up Bluetooth, which is another nice thing, and then you can do different themes for the emulator, for Emulation Station, File Manager, Raspberry Pi configuration, any of those sorts of things. There's a good number of things, and I can go into really long detail about a lot of that, but we're just going to stay out of that for now. So I put on some ROMs from Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, and in regular SNES or regular Nintendo. So you can download ROMs for Nintendo 64, Sega Genesis, you name it. There's you can even do things like arcade games and different pinball games and such as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go into a Super Nintendo game, and we're going to pick, I don't know, let's see. Just see if we can find Super Mario World. So we can do skip by letter. Let's do Super Mario Kart. This is always a fun game. Now I get this when the ROMs first load, get that little error screen and it got logged, but after that you can see it's just fine. So we're gonna start Super Mario Kart, do a 1-player, and 50cc class. Yes. I'm gonna pick Mario. And there we are. We're gonna do Mushroom Cup. And this would typically have sound if you had this on a standard monitor that had a sound output. This does not have a speaker on it, so no way can I do much. So pretty cool. Yeah, I could just sit here and play this game for hours. This is a fun game, fun to play with friends and everything. Really, when the Wii came out, I loved playing this game on the Wii as well, and I haven't got to play this on the Switch or any of that, or play the Switch at all for that matter. Yes, I've been living under a rock, but yeah, anyhow, this is a pretty awesome thing. So some of the other things you can do with the Raspberry Pi and RetroPie, you can install Kodi on it as well. So you can make it a mini media player. You could have a YouTube app on it. You could do Netflix and a few other things to get maybe some of your favorite movies and stuff downloaded and put on here as well, legally, I mind you. The same goes with, I just want to put a disclaimer out there for any of you. This is something you do want to check your local laws and everything else, and make sure, you're doing this the right way with getting these ROMs and having ownership of them. So anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So please give a thumbs up, leave a comment in the section down below. I'll leave all the details about where you find RetroPie, and as well as all the parts involved using my Amazon affiliate link. So I appreciate anything you purchase is going to give a portion of that purchase back to me as commission. So really helps support the channel and everything. So I wanted to let you guys know that. So anyhow, until the next time, stay safe, and we will catch you on the next one.